the veterans home. Yeah,
to the cafeteria at the veterans
correct.
home.
To the cafeteria at the veterans home.
Baller on a budget.
Yep.
Let's just. Okay.
So there's like nachos and just like cafeteria food, right? So
you can eat there?
You can eat there.
What?
Super weird. Because the veterans will have their families come,
Yeah.
right? And so you need a place to be able to eat. And so we go in there, and he grabs a drink, and I don't drink. I don't know if I touched on that yet, but
yeah.
I'm 5 years sober now with no relapses. So obviously, I'll put a positive note on that story and close that. But so we go in, and that was great, and it wasn't an issue for him at all, and I thought that that was really. It made me feel great that I was like, oh, okay, well, I won't have anything to drink. And then we kind of got over that hurdle fast. And I was like, so why are we here? And he was like, well, I want to hear some war stories. And so he was hoping that we'd be able to like strike up a conversation with like some veterans, like hear all these crazy stories. I'm like, this is a very unique first date.
Okay.
And I wasn't really like feeling it at
I want to
first.
hear some war stories.
Like what? Okay. I still am not 100% sure what he was thinking.
He's like, yeah, I don't care about your story. I want to hear war stories.
Right. And so we had a little something to eat, and then we left, but we didn't hear any war stories that day.
Okay.
And then we went to a couple other, little restaurants as we're walking down from like ad hoc towards the laundry.
Uh-huh.
And so we stopped at this wine tasting spot, and we were learning a little bit more about this one winery that was in town. That was sweet, and we're, just sitting and chatting, and then we moved on, and we go to this balcony of this one restaurant, which I kind of thought he was going to try to kiss me at that point, which I wasn't really feeling it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is like a little weird already, and I don't know about that. And then, but he didn't, and we were just kind of looking at this great view, and then we went back down, and we got a cup of tea at Bouchon, and we keep talking and walking, and then I mentioned at some point that, I had a really terrible oyster experience and got really sick, so I don't really eat oysters anymore, and he's like, well, how about we change that? Which is still a little, like, unsettling to me. I was like, oh, well, I don't really like it, but I suppose I'll try again. And so we went into Bouchon, and we had oysters, and it was great. And now I eat oysters. So ultimately for my own good, I suppose.
There you go.
So we went and did that, and he kind of got to show off because everyone was like, "Oh, Jason, how are you?" Like everyone knew him, because he'd been there for a while, and so he got to seem like kind of the big man, man on campus.
He's like, "Oh, he's already dating her." You fucking losers. That's like all dudes. It's like, come on, dude.
But we did see like 3 other people that we worked with. I'm like,
sure.
Oh my god, this is a fucking small town.
It's like, yeah, by the time you get to work tomorrow, you're the talk of the town.
Everybody knows. Yep. And so we went and we spent some time at Bouchon, and then picked up stuff for s'mores, and went and he showed me where he lived, and it was on this woman Diane's property, who ultimately then we lived there together after.
Be relentless.
Be relentless. Have a vision. Be relentless. So he lived in this Airstream trailer on this artist woman's property that was literally behind the French Laundry.
Yeah.
And so he showed me this spot and was like, I kind of have like a unique living situation. And the moment I see this Airstream, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was so excited about it. And then he shows me the wood burning stove, and he's like, we're going to make a fire and we're going to make s'mores. This is great. What? This is awesome. And so we make s'mores. We have the s'mores. And he's like, do you want to walk around some more? And I say, sure. And we go over to the garden, and it's dark outside already. And so we're in the French Laundry garden, and we're walking around. He's showing me, he's like, this is what this is. This is what this is. Try this herb. This is, and this, and this, and kind of like picking all these things. And so that was exciting. And I'd never tried like so many of these things before. And really just like eye-opening and wonderful, and that kind of rounded the day out, and it was great. It was
That's
magical.
so cool. That sounds like a good first date.
It was a good first
Started
date.
a little rocky.
It started great, and then got weird,
Yeah.
and then he saved it.
I think he realized, he's like, fuck, I gotta get her out of this goddamn place. I don't know.
But that was our first date, and then we started dating about a week after, and then we moved in with each other to that Airstream, where we lived with this woman, Diane, for about 2 years. And then Jason and I have now been married for 2 years.
Whoa.
And together for 4.
Together for 4. Heard that. So you were together for 2 years and you got married at the second year mark?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. What year?
That would be, we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary. So 2019?
2019. Got you. Right before pandemic. It was during this time that you...
Yeah, it was...
Were leaving the restaurant. The French Laundry.
When we started dating?
Yeah. Not when you started dating, but after.
Oh, a little bit after.
Gotcha. And then you went to go work at the winery.
Yes.
And then at this point, you're living with him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then where do you go from there?
And then we moved out to work on the ranch with Mitch.
Uh-huh.
Came back. Worked at Odette in production.
Got you.
That gig finished. I went back to working in the tasting room for a little bit. And then Jason, at that time when he came back, he obviously left the laundry to go work for Mitch in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And he had been there for, about 4 years.
Yep.
And then decided to leave and wanted to find something different for himself. So we went out, and while we were still on the ranch, he was applying for a few different, executive chef or chef de cuisine positions.
Yeah.
At a few different restaurants. And then he got the idea of, he liked private chefing with Mitch.
Yeah.
And so thought, okay, maybe this is something I want to look into more and more. And so for probably about 6 months after we got back, he was just kind of living off of doing all of these private chef interviews, because when you're at that high end mark, they'll pay you to travel and interview.
Yeah, for sure.
So he just kept interviewing with people and traveling all over the country, and it was great. It was a great experience.
Cool.
Yeah, super cool. We cooked for like Peter Thiel, and we cooked for the gentleman who founded Napster.
Got you. How did you?
And he always needed a server. So I always...
Yeah, they always do.
You're right.
Like, I'm going to the ranch, and he's like, you might need somebody. And I'm like, I got you, B. It's all good. I'll use the ranch hands.
There you go.
Whoa. So, tell me about this.
Yeah.
How did he find the other candidates that were looking for private chefs?
There was actually a company who... This woman, her name is Claudia Kahn. She started a company called the Help Company. And the Help Company staffs these high-end... This is going to sound so bougie. And helps staff high-end houses for nannies and chefs and drivers and whatever you could need if you're going to have a staff in your home.
Yeah, for sure.
So she's based in LA, but has, an agency here in San Francisco and in New York City. And we just got in touch with her, and she was attracted to Jason's resume when he saw French Laundry. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to, sell this kid no problem. And the more we got to talking to her, she's a super sweet woman. And basically her reason for starting her company is that, she was well off. I'm not exactly sure what type of executive she was before she had her first child.
Yeah.
But she wanted to go back to work. She was looking for a nanny. There wasn't like a high-end nanny agency where she felt like, hey, I'm going to leave my child with someone. I'm ready to spend some money.
Yeah, for sure.
And so she basically started her own company out of like a need that she found. And so we thought this was super inspiring. We get to know her more and more. Jason goes down for an interview. I end up meeting him down there. I had to have, I have an autoimmune disease and had to have surgery.
Okay.
At a hospital in LA.
Yeah.
And I'm just like giving you background to how sweet this woman is. She let me stay in her home to recover from surgery for 2 days.
Whoa.
When Jason was just interviewing, like, on behalf of her company. So when I talk about Claudia, people kind of, like, glaze over when they think about, it's, like, luxury staffing. It's, that's not, I'm a real chef. I don't do that. Or, all these people are so wealthy and so fortunate. It just, sometimes it can rub people the wrong way, but she's a super beautiful person that has been truly supportive even past like the private chef world. So we've got this great relationship with her. That's where we're able to like keep finding a lot of different people that are looking for a private chef. And maybe Jason was a little too charismatic or not the right fit, or his food wasn't exactly what people are looking for, and or the price point wasn't what he was looking for. So he was able to just like keep kind of staging around, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so finally he found this family that was extremely lovely that he worked for about a year and a half or almost 2 years. And while he was doing that, I was working at another 3-star restaurant at the time called Qua here in San Francisco.
Got you. How did you get that job?
So I got that job. They were hiring for a back server position there, and they had just switched chefs, actually. So I only...
That's when Kirkley came in.
That after. So I never
Eric
worked
Anderson.
with Kirkley. I only worked with Eric.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was also on the podcast.
Right, I did know that.
Oh, yeah.
So right when Eric had come on, there was a new somm, there was a new general manager. It was like a whole revamp, essentially, of this restaurant. And, they were obviously worried that they would lose a star.
Yeah.
Like, what happens?
100%.
Most of the time.
Well, at the end of the day, the chef leaves, the star leaves.
Right.
The stars leave.
Right.
That's usually the way it goes.
That's usually what it is, and then you have to earn it back, right? And so what they were approaching, they were like, "Hey, we want to keep this star. This is a really great time to be a part of this restaurant." And I was excited, and I was going to be projected into this new role that I hadn't been in the French Laundry, and I was excited about that. And it was a small restaurant. It was a super small team. I think there were only 15 tables in the whole restaurant.
Whoa.
And it's this beautiful, intimate restaurant. I had a great experience there. I learned a lot. I was able to go from back server to captain at that restaurant, which helped me in my career a lot in going to the restaurant following that. I actually, funny enough, say what you will and think, however about this person, but I thought it was an interesting experience. But I actually did a dinner with Paul Liebrandt at that restaurant.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if Eric talked about that at all.
No.
No?
No, not at all.
I think he really enjoyed it. But it was kind of a funny experience. And so getting...
Paul's the man. He gets a bad rap for being that, an asshole and this and that. But when you're on the quest to perfection, I'm sorry. Don't be in the way.
Yeah.
What do you want? And I've also had cooks. Joe Maggio, shout out to you. He's a sous chef right now at the Ojai opening for the restaurant at Meadowood. But he talks so highly of that man, and just he's best chef I ever worked for. You know?
It was a really funky experience, that dinner that we did. And that he had a candle burning all night with who's the lead singer from The Cure.
I don't know
On it. Anyway,
huge. Not a Cure guy.
Huge Cure fan, and so he had this candle burning in the dining room. We played Cure music all night.
That's
it was very, very kind of metal and cool. But that was the first night that I captained a section ever.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Whoa.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
This guy's got a crazy reputation and is gonna you think he's gonna tear me apart? I'm gonna dominate.
Did you feel the training at the French Laundry gave you that confidence?
Yes.
So you can walk into anything and be like, oh, got it.
In a way, because I think a lot of times people look at people that have worked at the French Laundry and think, maybe there's a certain, entitlement to them. And I don't want it to seem that way at all. I didn't feel entitled after working there. I felt like I had gone through basic training.
Heard.
And so then anywhere going forward, I could do that restaurant the service of performing at my highest ability.
So you were a soldier, basically. Got you.
And so I was ready. I was ready for the next challenge.
Yeah.
I think because of my time at the laundry.
Okay. Awesome. So how long did you stay at Qua?
At Qua, I was only there for about 7 or 8 months.
Got you. What made you leave?
Once again, there was a really big turnover, and the time that I was there for the 12th anniversary dinner too, and so a lot happened kind of during that time, which was wonderful.
So Eric's leaving, Kirkley's coming in, power struggles, new people, old people.
Kirkley left, Eric came in.
Oh, okay,
he was
got you.
still there.
Other way around.
Sous chef at the time was leaving. Some people in the kitchen left. Pastry chef left. GM left. Some trying to hang on but transitioning. Other captains leaving. One captain got fired, which is kind of how out of necessity, I moved into that position, which is honestly just be prepared to move into that new role
Yeah.
at any given time.
Always.
That's the way you're going to get promoted.
Yeah. Look at what the guy next to you is